Hello and welcome to Some Dude Shed. It's business as normal. We will be discussing silly stories from history and trying to figure out if they're real or not. That's what we do. Mr. Black, do you want to get us started? What deep level of history are you taking us to this week?
This is fairly recent.
How recent?
2000s plus. I can't remember exactly when, but let's say 2006 plus.
Okay.
After. True or false? Poo can be used as rocket fuel.
Rocket fuel.
Yep.
Is there a story behind this? Has somebody done it?
Well, a group of engineers were able to design a rocket based on using gummy bears as the rocket fuel. Because gummy bears are a hydrocarbon containing paraffin wax, they will burn well in the presence of oxygen. They tested the gummy bear rocket and it was successful, but it was 20% less successful than the traditional rocket fuel. Some bright sparks thought, since poo is also a hydrocarbon and poo is everywhere, maybe it will be a viable rocket fuel for future space travel. They loaded up the poo rocket with doggy doo-doo and lit the rocket. The rocket flew, leaving an appropriately coloured brown smoke trail behind it. The standard rocket flew up to 4,491 feet. The gummy rocket flew up to 3,591 feet. And the poo rocket flew up to 2,900 feet. So,
what kind of scientists were these?
Engineers.
Sorry, what kind of engineers were these?
Well, they're university students. It sounds like a university student sort of thing.
I think they were like sort of pyrotechnics and stuff, but they kind of knew how to make like a...
That makes perfect sense, basically
rocket.
Big firework. Now, I've heard of poo being used as fuel before.
Yeah, I've heard it being used as like a biofuel.
They did it on TV, or they used it in a car.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a car.
Is that the car with the toilet in the driver's seat?
I think the poo had to be treated or fermented, which is disgusting, but
Right.
they had to do something to it to make it more explosive.
Did you say the poo rocket had a brown streak coming out of the back of it?
Yeah, there's a brown trail. It started off black, but then it eventually turned like into a brown color.
I do worry though that if they ever did find out that poo makes very good car fuel, that the roads would stink.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the rocket didn't smell too good as it was being sent up.
No, it smelled like...
Would they even allow it anymore? Though, all that methane.
Probably not.
It's not raw poo. It's like it's like dried and sort of grounded up
Now, fueling a
into
car...
a powder, and then it's like mixed with a binder.
Fueling a car is one thing.
Refined poo.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't use... they don't use petrol in space rockets. I can't imagine it's explosive enough to take a rocket off the ground.
No, it's a solid fuel, so it's not like a liquid fuel.
Yeah, sure. I know it can be used to fuel a car if the right modifications are made. I can't imagine how it can be used as a rocket, but I'm sure if they can figure out how to... Yeah, they can do it. Sure. What do you think, Mr. Red?
I don't know. I just want to say no. I don't have a good gut feeling about this one.
The poo rocket?
Are you saying this story doesn't pass well with you?
No. I don't know. It's just I don't know why, but I just want to say no.
Well, I've pretty much filled my boots with this story, so is it true?
It's true, yeah. It's true. In fact, they did it on an episode of Mythbusters.
Oh wow!
Really?
Yeah, it's a Mythbusters episode.
Oh, cool.
They tried the gummy bear. What is it they do? Like, is it a myth or is it plausible or
Yeah.
whatever they do?
Plausible or busted, I think is what
Plausible or busted. Yeah, that's what it is. But yeah, they just did it with gummy bears first, but then they came back and tried it with poo, and it worked.
Mm. Well, there you go. There's a use for everything. I do think it's quite funny that Mr. Black had an alternate fuel story, because so do I.
Okay.
Do you think gunpowder can be used as fuel?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
It's not going to end very well, but yeah.
Fuel for what?
well,
A gun?
well, I say fuel obviously for a vehicle. It was way back, way back. In 1733.
There's a massive explosion. So guys, like, what's this?
Spoilers, guys. There's a guy in China who basically invented a prototype car. Describe it to you. It's like a wagon with four wheels, and there's a huge, it's like a very tall wagon The guy sits on the top.
She wasn't a train.
Well, no, it was in 1700s. They didn't know what a train was. So yeah, inside the box, you've got a big wheel. Like a mill wheel, like a river mill. One of those. What do you call those wheels on a river?
Water wheel.
Water wheel. Yeah, like a water wheel, but not for water. So
I just like the hand gestures.
Does that turny thing.
So what, did he have a gunpowder wheel?
Yeah, basically. So
Even explosions.
yeah, so it's like a water wheel, but it's for gunpowder. At the top, basically where the driver sits, there's a reservoir of gunpowder, and with a tiny hole, so it only goes out at a certain speed. As they put the gunpowder on the wheel, it goes around, and then there's a little fire, a little furnace where the gunpowder ignites on the wheel and basically propels it, make it go, and that's linked to the wheels of the wagon, and it could and apparently. It could go at walking pace, and a slow walking pace, like 2 miles an hour.
The loudest vehicle in the world. Bang, bang,
Yeah,
bang,
it would have
bang,
been incredibly loud.
But the fire's going to trail up.
It's like a water.
But it's going to ignite the gunpowder and a trail back up the hole.
It's a water wheel, right? It's got little, like each arm of the water wheel is quite far apart, so it's only a little bit of gunpowder that gets ignited each time.
Right.
Like powered by gunshots, basically.
It drops a bit, stops, and then drops a bit. It's not a continuous stream of gunpowder.
Imagine once it's got going, it would sort of look continuous. Once
But
it's
if
got
it was
momentum.
continuous, as soon as the one part of the gunpowder goes on fire, it's going to ignite the rest of the gunpowder.
Well, it drops onto the wheel, and then as the wheel goes down.
Oh, right, I get you now, yes.
Yeah, so it drops onto the wheel goes down,
Then hits
then
the
there's a
front.
bang, and then that propels it and keeps it going.
Oh, okay, right, I understand now. I had it in my head wrong.
But then
Yeah.
if the thing's made of wood, the wheel just blew up.
Well, funny you should mention that, because when it came to showing off the invention in front of the emperor, there was a bit of I think there might have been a build-up of powder at the bottom. It wasn't terribly well made, and it blew up.
Yeah, but it's made of wood. It's just automatically, no?
Yeah, it was a pretty stupid design to begin with.
How did it not catch fire?
I had a little. Well, it was like a furnace on the thing. I guess like a steam boiler.
I'm going to assume there must have been a metal plate on the bit of...
Yeah, the furnace for the fire would have been encased.
Yes, and then I'm going to assume there must have been a metal plate over the actual rung of the wheel.
Yeah,
Everyone-
probably. I don't know. The picture isn't that big, but yeah. So yeah, basically the story is it blew up in front of the emperor, and he was interested in like the military applications of a horseless carriage, because that sounds useful. But turns out it was awful. It used all the gunpowder, which was better used in guns. Funny enough, and yeah, they kept the plans, which is why we've got this story today. But they never made it again because it was stupid. But it was technically the first self-propelled thing.
Like, just thinking back to the original fireworks as well, they were just basically pure gunpowder, coloured.
Yeah, pretty much. The Chinese were very good with fireworks, weren't they?
Yep.
Invented them. They stuck like arrows on their fireworks.
And then some people from the Middle East came along and thought, hold on a minute, you can point, if you put a ball in a tube and point it at someone, it works.
Yeah. Strange enough, then it took the Portuguese to sell them to the Japanese. It kind of went a whole big round circle before it actually got back to Japan again, which I thought was quite odd.
A long way around.
Yeah. So, guys, is it true? Did a Chinese bloke come up with a gunpowder powered carriage and blew up?
Nah.
Well, the thing is, to direct the force, it would need to be in like a more of an enclosed space if it's only a small amount of gunpowder.
Yeah.
Because if it's just sitting on top of a piece of wood that's going round, which actually doesn't make much sense because it will stop and it just sliding off the wood as it goes to rotate round.
I think looks like it's in like a spoon.
Okay.
It's the best way I can describe it. It's like a water wheel with spoons on the end.
Okay. And it would need to be in an enclosed space to actually get use out of the explosive force. Or it would just go...
Was the thing called the Bang Bang?
Hmm?
Was it called the Bang Bang?
I got the name for it here somewhere.
Just basically Chitty Bang Bang without the chitty.
It was called the Boujing Mashi. Boujing Mashi. I don't know. I don't speak Chinese.
I'm
I don't know. I'm not buying it.
not buying it either. It doesn't seem like it would even go. Never mind.
No, that's what I mean. It's like, well, you would need quite a bit of it to make it turn the wheel, and you would need to have it directed in such a way, or you're just going to lose quite a lot of it.
Yeah, it's rubbish.
You made it up.
It's terrible design. Yes, I did. Yes. Yes. This is not true. There was never a gunpowder powered carriage. I'm afraid the invention of the car is, as it stands, still German. Or is it?
Mine takes place in that mystical time
World War II.
of the 90s.
Oh,
Holy
A time
shit.
just before the noughties. A time where nobody really gave a shit about anything.
good times.
And the world was a peaceful place. Apart from Desert Storm 1. But anyway, so yes, this story follows Gary Hoy, who was a law specialist in Toronto, Canada, and he worked for a law firm. And the law firm was based in a rather large office building, you know, like the big glass skyscraper block buildings.
Mm-hmm.
And he was giving a tour to some prospective law students who may want to join the company. And one of the tricks he liked to do when giving a tour to prospective students was to bounce off the reinforced glass window to show how safe it was, and you shouldn't be worried about being up that high.
Oh, I can see where this is going.
Okay.
So on this particular tour, Gary bounced off the window. It was fine. Gary bounced off the window again, and the window popped out of its frame, and Gary and the window went plummeting to his demise.
Oh dear.
And that's it.
Oh dear.
True or false, did someone demonstrating the safety glass prove it wasn't particularly safe?
Well, to be fair, it wasn't. By the sounds of things, the glass didn't break. It just,
Oh no, it didn't.
It just fell out.
It fell out of the frame.
Oh dear. Did he keep on jumping into the same window every single time?
I don't know.
So I wonder if he like loosened it over so many tours.
That's a good question. I don't know.
Mm.
So it was in the 90s?
93.
Do you know what the company was?
No.
Okay.
So just some tall building in
Toronto,
Toronto.
Canada.
Hmm. Well, it definitely sounds believable.
And he trained as an engineer before
did he?
becoming a lawyer.
Brilliant.
Oh, so it was a law firm?
Yes. He studied as an engineer and then became a lawyer afterwards.
Do you know what building it was?
It's one of 3 buildings in Toronto, Canada that are a group of buildings. I can't remember.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know. Let's just ask a kind of a relevant question. If you ended up, if you were in a really, really tall building like that, these big glass windows, and they say they're indestructible, would you try and run into them?
I wouldn't, but I'm sure in the age of TikTok, there's bound to be people that would be more than up for doing something like that for clout.
Hmm.
Oh, this window will stop you from jumping out. Whoosh.
I don't know. It's kind of one of those things. It's just don't really know until you're there, because I don't think I've ever been in a super tall building.
I've been on top of the Empire State Buildings.
Oh,
Quite entertaining.
would you ever jump into a window like that?
No. The law firm was called Holden Day Wilson.
Holden Day Wilson.
Yes. And it was the Dominion Towers in Toronto.
Sure. I'll say true. It sounds like a believable little story to me.
What was the true or false question?
Did a man demonstrating the safety of the windows on the building plunge to his death, demonstrating how safe they are?
True. And then in the 90s as well, so
It was a crazy time.
crazy time.
Probably the first thing that was said after he bust through the window was "Whoa, dude." That would have been a very 90s thing to say.
Gnarly. Radical.
It's true.
It's true.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Gary Hoy.
I knew it was true.
Oh, yes, yeah.
I knew it was true.
And in 1996, he was awarded the Darwin Award by the Usenet news groups.
Oh dear. Well, at least
Is the Darwin Award a real thing? Or is it just like a figure of speech?
It's
I think it's a real thing.
no, it's not. Sorry, it wasn't by the Usenet news groups. It's by a site called Humor.
This guy died.
They recognize individuals who have supposedly contributed to human evolution by selecting themselves out of the gene pool by dying or becoming sterile via their own actions. And that's it.
So did he die or go sterile?
Oh, he fell out of a tall building.
I think the boys would have been good for about 10 minutes after he died. Yeah, he went sterile after
Yeah,
that.
unless he landed on a rail.
Yeah, you could land on a shard of glass. Oh, my dick.
We shouldn't be laughing. The man lost his life.
Yeah.
He didn't get to see the complete political hell the world became.
Did you say he was doing it to show off? Or he was doing it to show off?
He
wasn't
was demonstrating the safety of the windows.
Probably trying to impress some girls. Look at this. Oh,
No, apparently
oh.
he it's a thing. It was a trick he did
Oh.
while showing perspective students. And on that sad story.
Yes, if anybody has been affected by any stories that you may have heard, especially if you've been blown up on your own homemade gunpowder car, please let us know.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.